Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Cooking right here on City TV. My name is Apioko. Now today, I don't know if you've been following the show, but there's this particular day, when AJ, my friend, came to visit me and she didn't do anything in the kitchen. Well, today she's invited me home and so I'm here. She says she's making some jollof, the AJ way. So I'm excited to see what that's about because in all the time that I've been her friend, I ain't seen it before. Welcome back. Still watching What's Cooking right here on City TV. Once again, my name is Apioko and AJ's here. Yay! Finally. It is not the makeup that will make the jollof nice. Let me just say.
You see, Api, and my viewers, if you remember the time I came to your place and came to eat your lovely tatale and abobitati and all those nyamanyamanu, bambara and everything else inclusive, I told you I would do some jollof for you to go. Say
yeah,
it.
you did.
What? So I'm about to do some amazing jollof. So it's going to be like a nice fun night out here with the girls and going to do something fun and exciting.
Okay.
And I figured a party without jollof is just a meeting. So
well, okay, so I see that the beef is already cooked.
yes.
So what was the process? Just run us through what you've done
basically,
so far.
so I already got my beef sorted. I boiled it a bit with some spices. So mixed spice, some rosemary, a bunch of bay leaves, some 3-in-1 spice.
Okay.
And just a little bit of paprika or powder pepper or whichever one you want to use.
Okay.
And that sort of being my beef. The pork, I already sort of seasoned it and marinated it and just boiled it a little bit so that will make it easier for us to.
Okay, so it's
to
nice
go
and
into it.
moist already.
Exactly.
Very tender.
So the
like
few
it.
things I like to use. So of course, seasoning. I love my seasoning. I think my ancestors speak to me and then they let me move all out with the seasoning.
Or
so,
maybe the seasoning is covering things up.
you see, haters gonna hate, potato gonna potato.
Okay.
And also another thing, and something I love, or one of my exciting parts about cooking my jollof is usually from whatever meat I use prior or I season prior, I always use the stock. I keep the stock to cook with the rice.
So this is the
forward.
beef stock.
So this is the beef stock right here. So now let's get into it.
Okay.
We'll start off with our base, oil and onions. And then we'll throw in the sardines after. So
should I bring anything over?
please come with the sardines. Come with the sardines. So
A spoon? Do you have one there? Should I bring this?
yes, please.
Okay.
And we're gonna start it off. So
Oil goes in.
Yes,
so this is
please.
normal vegetable
yes,
oil.
any
Okay.
so some people get particular about the kind of oil they use. I usually don't really care about it.
Okay.
It's not about the oil. It's about the person cooking it. So
Very
gonna
good.
just a little bit more heat
Okay.
to it, but it's gonna get into it very shortly.
All right.
Then let me grab some of the spices and come towards you.
So I'm guessing you build on the spice as you go along.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you start off small and then you start to work your way in it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start it off with some rosemary, some bay leaves,
Okay.
white pepper, black pepper, and some bouillon cubes.
Okay. Any specific flavor for the bouillon cubes?
It could be chicken or shrimp. I usually
Okay.
go for the shrimp, but to each their preference.
Okay. So is our oil hot enough now? Can
Not
we-
yet.
Not yet.
We're just gonna wait a little bit more for
Okay.
it to start getting into it. Then we can throw in our sardines.
Okay, so the sardines go in before the spices.
They do.
Sardines? Yes. Okay.
So nice
Okay, so let me just cover this
and
up.
flavorful. Our sardines go in there. and you break it into the chunks, and then you just sort of, so you don't break it into tiny chunks immediately. You just sort of break it into big chunks, and then allow it just stew in.
Okay.
So you
and that goes in with the sardine oil. So
yes,
the oil
exactly.
that comes in the tin, that goes in there.
So
as
some
well.
people like to throw it away. And if you're health conscious, I understand why. But if you're cooking something like this, always keep the oil because it gives it a different kind of flavor.
If you're a hearty eater like AJ.
You know it, you know it. So I like to usually switch to a wooden spoon at some point.
Okay.
So that it can just allow me.
So have metal scratching against metal.
You get it. So rosemary is honestly an underrated spice. And when you start it in the base or use it as a base for your jollof, while you fry it, it allows the flavors really add up and infuse,
just brings
and it
them all
smells
together.
so good. So I love how rosemary is such a great and affordable spice as well. You can get it for like $1 whatever it is. Watch Goodbye. They'll give you all the hot spots.
Goodbye. Right now.
Goodbye on City TV.
So what goes in next? Have you done the bay leaves already?
I threw in some bay leaves. So now I do a bit more of the spices. So I have white pepper, black pepper, some curry, and then a bouillon cube. So I throw in a shrimp bouillon cube.
Okay. Just one?
Just one to start it off with. A smidge of black and a smidge of white.
Okay.
To start
so no
off.
curry yet?
Just a little
just a pinch.
Bit of curry. So very little in the beginning, which sort of nicely blends.
Okay.
And helps us.
So is there anything I should bring around that we're going to use next?
Are
we still
so
on
we
the
just
spices
sort of
or?
allow it
marinate stew a bit. So is this going in now?
Yes,
both of them, the pepper and the garlic.
Yes, the pepper and the garlic. So throw that in and allow that to.
But I find it interesting. Okay, so you started with all the spices.
Yes.
I would usually start with maybe some powdered pepper after the onions went in, but then I'll throw in the garlic as well before I added any more spice. So that's an interesting, switch up that you've done there.
So with my reasoning behind that, it allows the spice to sort of just take hold of it, so that towards the end of it, when the stew starts to come together, you don't really need to put in as much spice
as before.
And then that would have already made it very fragrant and very exciting, and all the flavors are marinating.
Okay, that's interesting.
And by the time you get towards that final bit, you can taste the ones that were earlier put into the entire stew.
Okay.
So,
but then it's still not overpowering.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. There's something interesting about tomato paste, right?
Please,
so
tell me.
A lot of people would put it in and then it doesn't cook properly. And so it gives you a really sharp taste in your jollof or in your stew a little, later down the line.
It's a science.
Okay, so we're putting this in, science students.
Actually.
Okay,
so a little bit of tomato paste.
So we're not using that much of it.
No, okay, so I'm trying to be as proportionate to the amount of tomato puree that I have.
Okay.
So that sounds just about enough. Okay, just a bit more.
Okay.
Then we'll leave this to sort of stew.
So we're done with
in
this.
here. Yes, thank you so much.
So we leave that on for about what? 2-3 minutes?
Maybe 5. Let's give it 5.
Okay.
While we are doing that, then we can start prepping our pork.
Okay.
So we're going to be making some skewers with this, and our grill is nice and heated. So with the pork and the spices you can use to sort of do it, white pepper, black pepper.
Okay. Staples.
Of course. Maybe 1 or 2 bouillon cubes and onions.
And we're sticking with the shrimp bouillon cube?
Yes,
or? Okay.
yes, largely. And some powdered pepper or paprika, whichever one that you want, to add a bit more heat to it. And of course, onions. So you cut in some onions to put it in there to sort of get through that. You can throw in a mixed spice if you want.
All right. And all that is, you steam all of that together.
Okay. Yeah. So while
and how long do you have it on the fire typically?
So it depends on your consistency or how soft you want it. So I usually like my meat, regardless of whichever one it is, to be very tender.
Yeah,
and
melts in
very
your mouth.
You understand? So by the time you put it on the grill, it doesn't take too much effort to get it into a nice, soft, delicious thing to sort of melt in your mouth and give it all that goodness.
Okay.
So again, always prep beforehand. And now you have your pork.
Okay.
Nice. Just make sure that you have it soaked a bit in water. So
Okay.
our porks are nice and diced
Okay.
up beautifully.
Okay.
Put it back in the bowl, and then by that time, I'm sure it's time
Okay,
to
so it's
move
not
on
time
to
to put them onto the
no,
skewers
not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Once we get into our rice, then we can
go ahead and do that. Okay,
do all
sounds
that
great.
excitement.
Sounds great.
So
So do you think our sauce is ready now? Can we
absolutely.
continue the
So
process?
we're going to move on to
Okay.
our onion and pepper mix, which
Okay,
is this
that's
one.
this one.
So
Should I bring just this
please,
one
yes,
mix along?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll give it some time to stew before we put it in the tomato puree. So the tomato paste is looking
Okay,
good.
that's good.
Then just throw in our
Okay, so all of it.
pepper and onion mix. So this is onions into chunks, pepper. You can do Scotch bonnets, and throw in some pieces of cloves of garlic and ginger if you want a bit more
Okay,
heat.
and you blended it all together.
All together.
Use the blender.
Yes.
Okay, so
All right, so
Okay.
our skewers have been soaked in water overnight,
Right.
and it's time for us to do pork skewers.
okay.
Okay, I'm excited.
This is
Can you tell?
exciting. You're excited
Okay.
to be piercing
I am
meat.
excited to be.
Should I be
piercing
scared
meat.
of you, AJ?
So with our
I have a
onions,
lot of meat, you know.
oh
like,
yes, honey, come on, own it.
eh.
So with
Okay.
our skewers, we will just cut onions a little larger than usual, just so
Okay.
they can cover over all the goodness and
Okay.
get ready to get into it. So I usually do it pork in,
Okay.
onion on,
Pork
and sort of build it on there.
Okay.
Pork
Onion
again,
on, pork
Maybe.
again.
pork again, and then our green peppers, which we diced nicely.
Pork
Just
again.
throw that on, and then you just sort of build it as you go. So however you want to do it. Pork, green pepper, pork, whichever one, onion, however you want to go
So you're really
about
just going
it.
to have fun with it.
Yes,
right?
basically, it's fun,
Okay.
and then you can make it
And then
on the top, and then we line it up there and get into
so
it.
let me
So
push this down a bit. Maybe add another
yes, you can make it as chunky as you want. You can make it as if you want to be wicked to the people that are coming over, you can make it as small as you want.
onion. Evil child. Evil.
If you say I don't like those people, I don't want to give them, you can just or you say I love these
Okay.
people coming over like the way I love Appy, so I'm gonna make it bigger
Aw,
just so she
I
can
love
have
you
a lot
too,
more
AJ.
to eat.
I love you too, AJ.
Okay, so we're gonna do that and keep building
Okay.
it.
Kudos, AJ, for once. For
You
once.
see, God no go shame us. God no go shame us.
You see, go on it. He may not shame you, but you go shame yourself.
God no go shame us. So
I was worried that you go shame yourself. Yeah, need to cut that one up a bit.
Alrighty, so wrapping this up very shortly, just throwing that on top.
Okay,
The
so is
skewers
it
are
time to
looking
go and check on our
good.
stew?
Oh, I am excited.
We have
Okay,
to put some more spices in there.
just a bit more,
so let me
and
just
then
finish up
just
with my
allow that
skewer. I'm
marinate.
almost done with this skewer.
So please, some onions are here.
Merci, merci.
You're very welcome, my darling, my darling.
Merci.
All right, so
Okay, so
gonna go check on our stew now and see all the lusciousness that it has turned into.
okay, so let's see.
So remember where we left it off, we had thrown in the tomato puree mixture. And
So that we could, and then we left it to cook and
yes,
stew a
so
bit.
now we see some oil
Literally
floating.
stew.
Some oil floating to the
Okay,
top.
so that means we're
And
there.
it smells good, but then now it's time for us to spice it nicely. So
Okay.
some garlic powder, throw that in.
So garlic powder, we haven't touched at
we
all.
haven't
This is the
touched
first
that
time
also.
we're
Now
putting it
we're
in there.
throwing that in
Okay.
towards the top. Then all the rest of our black and white peppers.
Okay.
So Basically, just throw all of that in.
Okay.
And then go into the mixed spice.
So no curry yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So it's usually like my last step.
Okay.
It's the, what's the French word? Piece de resistance? Something.
Wow,
Something.
Wow,
My
look, my
French
friend,
is
say it in
comme ci,
Chi.
comme ça. It's
Say it
comme
in
ci,
Chi.
comme ça. It's almost there.
Say it in Chi.
It's our
Okay, so it's the icing on the cake.
missing
basically.
ingredient, Irish
Right.
cream. Hashtag.
So we're
Shout out
adding,
to you, Sak.
so adding mixed spice now.
Yes, so we're gonna
Okay.
throw in the mixed spice.
Okay.
And
And this is the same
the-
mixed spice we know.
yes.
So
and a bit of powdered pepper.
okay, red powdered pepper.
Yes.
Well, pepper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So are we going to? It's not time for the rice yet.
no, so we're gonna leave
Okay.
it to stew just a little.
All right.
And while it's doing that, we sort of now build up on our rubbing our spice
on the skewers.
our
Okay.
peppered mix on the
Okay.
skewers.
Okay. So we've got these two. So they're gonna go on the. Want me to put them
grill.
on there?
Please
Okay.
work it in for me.
All right.
And while
So
that's
just like
done,
that?
we're gonna check on our stew shortly, and then get it ready for our rice mix.
Okay. So just like that.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Brilliant. So we're just going to do a few more.
I'm feeling the barbecue now.
Yes. I must.
We're yet to prove that. We're yet to prove that.
The cook makes the jollof. Okay.
Okay.
So everything looks absolutely beautiful.
So onto
And we're
the.
gonna go around to go do all of that. Now let's put it on the grill, and then just move towards our exciting part.
Okay.
That is our lovely, absolutely lovely jollof rice. Hey, it's almost there. It's almost there.
Okay.
I can feel it. I
So
can feel it.
should we start with the jollof?
I think we
rice?
should.
Okay.
So let me check on the stew quickly, and then we can proceed. So we can just drop our spice mix over back on the table.
Okay. So since we
And-
have a lot of the spice in the plate, I'm just gonna try to
Knock
get
yourself
some of
out,
it in
boo.
there. As you can see,
So-
I'm really enjoying this.
You clearly are.
I am. So ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, you're still watching What's Cooking right here on City TV. I've come to visit my friend AJ. She promised me to reciprocate her visit to my end the last time, and she said she would cook. It seems like she knows what she's doing with this jollof and skewer thing, but so far I'm impressed. I must admit, so far I'm impressed. So what we're doing right now is, so the stew for the jollof is just about ready.
Just about
So
ready.
we'll be putting the rice
So remember
and stew.
our
Okay.
meat that we had boiled and then lightly fried a little earlier. I'm going to drop some bits of it into the stew,
Okay.
and then leave a bit for the final bit when the rice is all done.
Okay.
And then just
Is
allow
that
it
just
to-
for taste, or
for both? For
what
taste.
portions are you? Is it that
It
you
also
put
adds
just,
to the.
so is it just a bit, or you've put like half of what you?
No, so I split it in half,
Okay.
and then I just put it
Okay.
in. But you
Okay.
can choose to do it. You can put just a few pieces in. You can put all of it in, or you can put in just a little bit in. So while our skewers are now on the grill, feeling and looking amazing.
They are though. So colorful.
Absolutely. So we are getting our stew mix on. Okay, so we're now gonna pour in our rice. rice to stew ratio. Make sure that the rice doesn't overpower the stew,
Okay,
else your jollof will not come out.
So hang on. What ratio should we be looking at? If you're looking at
So
it, how are you
I usually
gauging?
like to eyeball it to make sure that the white rice is covered nicely by the stew.
Okay, so just
you can-
coating the
yes.
top. All right.
And still retaining the color. We don't want a whiter
Okay.
because there's too much rice or anything on that sort.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I usually like to pour it in and just let the stew stick a little before I add in any more liquids. So of course, once you wash your rice, there'll be some liquid in it. So that already starts to give that nice
Okay.
texture. And then allow it, again, stew just a little before
Okay.
we throw in our liquid. So the liquid I usually love to use is, again, the stock,
Okay.
the
So
meat
back to
stock
the
that
stock.
we used a little
All right.
earlier. So while
the jollof.
Yes.
Right now we're at the point
we
where we're
have
just
gotten
leaving it
it
to cook.
nicely.
Okay. Do we need to add anything?
Now we add in our liquids.
Okay. So what do we need?
The stock.
The stock. All right. Here we go. Okay. Here we go.
Yes, ma'am. So again, you eyeball it. You don't want too much liquid.
Okay.
Else.
So in pouring in the stock, do we treat it like we treat water?
Exactly.
Okay. So
And also have a little bit of water on standby as well.
Okay.
So the flavors are not too overwhelming.
All right. All right. So while AJ is getting the water, I'm just going to continue basting these skewers. They're looking really good. They smell great, I must admit. Started turning them over, trying to baste them as well. Some of them seem to be getting a little bit dry, especially the ones that have been on for a while. So I'm just basting them.
Got myself a
you're
nice
back.
bowl
There
of
you go.
water.
Okay.
And you know, let's make it indigenous. I have a little calabash with me.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
So
You
just
thought
add
it through.
So just a little bit of water.
Okay.
So to make stirring absolutely easy. So now we're gonna go into getting an aluminium cover,
Okay.
aluminium foil, sorry,
Okay.
and just cover the rice just a little. So I'll just grab that.
All right.
But while at it, make
Okay,
sure that all our
hang on. So I haven't seen anyone use foil before.
Really?
I've seen people use a wet piece of tissue, like
Yes.
we have on the table, the paper towels. I've seen people use a wet piece of cloth. I've seen people use, the Olonka rubber, wet it a little, or recycle a polythene bag and put on top.
Yes.
But foil, I haven't seen.
So foil, I realize, is a winner for me. It helps me really retain the steam.
The moisture.
And we
that
all
makes
know
sense,
that.
of course. I mean, that's what foil does.
Jollof is all about keeping that steam in there
so
to
it
cook it
turns
nicely.
into a pressure cooker.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
While it's on very low heat. So tear some of that off and just nicely cover it. So for a nice big bowl is that, maybe one roll might not work for it.
So you're not just letting the foil sit.
No.
Okay, so cover it
covers
like you're
it
covering
completely.
some kind of
and
bowl
then
or something that's
seal all that action in there.
Looks wonderful.
So you can just fold on the side.
I love it.
And now we just leave it to chill and cook and do all that excitement that jollof does. Now we focus on our kebabs. Okay.
So this one needs some moisture.
We just turn them. Those that are ready, we pop them in our boat.
So so after the grills and the jollof, is there anything else are we doing any kind of drink? Because AJ, I must let you know that AJ is the cocktail queen.
You know it.
Undisputed.
Come on.
Championess.
I'll just whip
Undefeated.
up something nice. Something light.
Her title has never been taken, cannot be taken, will not be taken. It is sealed in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
So do we have anything?
We'll whip up something.
Because you dare. I trust you.
Come on.
As you're standing here, there's no drink. I suspect. There's something sitting somewhere waiting for us.
It's breathing for us.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so we're done with that last skewer.
Yes, and it's good for the skewer side.
It looks good. Maybe you just come to think I should have brought some plantain.
You should,
Yeah, we should have done some quick kelewele. We could have actually tossed it in the, basting juice. Next time. Yeah, toss it in the basting juice and give it some.
So that's an idea. If you have plantain at home, throw it in, mix it up,
and you want to figure out doing grills.
Kelewele.
Especially when there's jollof. We all know we love our kelewele with jollof every now and then. Just toss it into the basting. I mean, don't be afraid
at all
to try new things, and we are definitely not to do that. Afraid to do that on What's Cooking, right? So at this point, we'll go for a break, and when we return, the cooking continues.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. You're still watching What's Cooking right here on City TV. My name is Apioko, and oh my word, AJ has outdone herself. This calls for a celebration. This look, no, please, some music, enjoyment.
Yes, you have to dance.
And I'm shooting myself in the foot for calling for this song enjoyment because AJ is going to rub it in my face like dirt. Yes.
Yeah, we know you did it. We know you did it.
I did it.
You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it.
Oh my.
Give them.
Okay. So we have it going on.
Okay.
Oh baby.
Oh. Hey. Oh.
Millions.
Can we eat now?
Please.
Hold on. My favorite part is coming.
Oh Lord.
Oh, darling. Joy. Nobody there like you, my love. You give me joy.
Oh Lord.
Hey.
Oh no.
Really?
Okay, look.
Hey, what? Oh my God.
So fine. I eat my words.
You have humble pie.
I apologize.
Thank you on national television.
I
So much.
apologize to AJ, everybody,
All the smack you've
for
been
calling
talking.
her a bad cook,
Can you imagine?
for doubting
We
her
haven't eaten the food
abilities.
yet.
No, but you see, I know food well enough to understand that the aroma of the food has
Come on.
a lot to say about the
Thank
taste.
you.
All
So
spices.
even though
Sent from the guy.
but you see, but I was also tasting in bits and pieces while we're cooking. I mean, I
Yeah.
was cooking through the process with her.
But you see-
I'm impressed. Even the table setting she's done. This is what, sangria?
No, so it's a very different kind. It's called Good Day Afro.
Oh,
Let me tell you about it. So, it's a lot of
okay.
some
this.
berries. So we have grapes, we have strawberry,
okay.
apples.
Some apples.
Top it up with Afro. So it's a Ghanaian palm spirit. So you know
Right,
akpetishi.
of course.
So it's like a nice refined akpetishi version, which is really sweet. Has a really sweet taste to
Okay.
it. And I top it up with some prosecco and Good Day energy drink.
right.
So I'm going to serve you. Oh, please sit. Welcome to my home. Relax. It's going to be good.
JB doesn't look convinced.
He will be
He
convinced.
doesn't want to
have
give
to
you your
taste the
accolades.
food.
So you see, I start off with some
Okay, so
ice
just a drop.
and then some fruits already I prepped in the bowl, and then pour in some Afro, then top it off with my delicious mixture,
Okay.
and the final
So what's the mixture?
favorite. So it's a base of Afro.
Right, which we-
Palm
okay.
spirits and prosecco, and then Good Day energy drink.
Okay.
So it's like a 3 ingredient, well, without the fruits, that is. So you can choose whichever fruits, something nice, fresh, summery to balance off the spice and
Okay.
then the incredible
We like
taste
it.
very
We like
well.
it. Well,
Here you
AJ,
go.
let's taste the food. Okay, so
Please.
I'm containing my excitement. JB is advising me. It seems like there's something he knows that I don't know,
Right.
but I'm impressed, at least for now.
okay.
And I'm apologizing to you once
Thank
again
you so much.
for doubting your culinary prowess, young lady.
Cheers, shall we?
Cheers. Okay, here goes mine.
Cheers to good food we haven't tasted.
Cheers to good food, good life,
Oh, yes.
good day.
Good day. Always a good day. But let me even top yours out with some mint.
No,
leaves.
now you're showing off.
I know. I came prepped.
Okay, so could you?
I love it.
Please dish some food for us,
Thank
Madam
you.
Hostess.
With pleasure.
Let's see if you dish
So
well too.
something.
If you dish well too.
You come to judge my dishing skills too.
Yeah, it's also part.
If I may.
What do you mean? If you're dishing the food and it's pouring on us.
So you're trying to put pressure on me, eh? No worries. God no go shame
Okay,
us.
so speaking of culinary skills, culinary art, while we're going through the cooking process and we're mixing and tasting all those spices and just playing around,
Yeah.
it got me thinking about how much we downplay the arts in this country, in
True.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Everything we do around us is artistic. The way we dress. I mean, when I came in, I had makeup, and then AJ, you went in and
Yeah.
said you're going to get your face done.
Come
Your
on.
makeup artist did a bomb job, by the way.
Thank you.
In a good way. Our clothes. I mean, I have this beautiful dress on. The
know.
food. Everything around us is art. And then we came in here, we're excited, and the first thing that came to mind to celebrate the moment was to play music.
Ghanaian
That's
music.
art. So I came across an article. You know, we're preparing for a national census. So I came across an article which JB actually, run by me. When was this? A couple of days ago, I think.
Yes.
Talking about the 2010 census.
Yes.
Okay, so the article came out in 2012. And at the time, only 0.6% of the Ghanaian population, of course, there were selected regions, but the regions that are supposed to have already.
You weren't you talking smack just a little
So
bit ago?
the regions that are supposed to have the most active economic, or the most economic activity, so Greater Accra, the Ashanti region, only 0.6%. of the people who are supposed to be engaged in economic
15
activity.
years and above.
15 years and above.
Right.
Are
We're
the creative
involved.
arts.
Wow.
Only
Yes,
0.6%.
That is crazy.
I mean, the numbers for other areas were not any more encouraging. I mean,
You'll be
education was
shocked.
3 point something.
Exactly.
Of course, agric was the biggest because we're still a very agrarian society. But 0.6% in the creative arts. We haven't been
We're
able
eating?
to.
Please dig in.
But who is stopping you from eating? What kind of attitude is this?
eat.
Yes, we're eating.
Let's
You know,
get
so
it.
I just want us to have a conversation about that, and more so even do it on TV since we have the chance to do it. What do you think is hampering our progress in that regard?
Pause.
Uncle, you're behaving like somebody I know.
Someone we will not talk
Yeah,
about.
somebody, yes.
Let us
He
not
whose
talk about.
name should not
Hey,
be
before he
mentioned.
materializes in this place.
We are not in the same class.
Anyway, but I mean, what's your take on this? So I mean,
On the food,
no,
creative arts.
oh, I hope.
Hello. What's
you
cooking over here? Apiako. I thought you and I are very close and very nice to each other. And so this is what you're going to
It's
do
Uncle Jimmy.
without me,
But Uncle, if I'm coming to visit my friend, do I have to tell Uncle Jimmy?
Laila, as a
Even
When
Tester
I was
General.
leaving the house, your lights were off.
Yes, I smell food from far and near.
hey.
It's my
Wow.
specialty.
Oh, but Uncle Jimmy, unfortunately, there's no seats for you.
Even though there's no seat for me, I can create one for myself.
Men and women.
It shouldn't be a problem. Where 2 or 3 or 4 people are gathered, Tester General is included.
Hey.
Let me first grab a chair and then we'll continue from there.
There's no space for you.
Oh, really? There's a head table. I'll look for one.
There's no plate for you.
Are you putting up with this?
Since you didn't make provision for me, I can provide for myself a seat. At least I saw one when entering the garden. I like dinner in the garden. It's really, really good. And what do I see over here? Cocktail. Cocktail. Wow. Hello, Madam AJ.
Taster General.
Thank you. Now that I'm seated, you can look for a plate for me. Let me also see what's happening over here. Yeah. Oh, you don't want to go international?
AJ, please give him a plate.
Yeah.
Please give him a plate.
And what was the conversation all about before I entered?
I can't even remember. I'm so flabbergasted. I've lost my memory.
Oh,
all of a
that?
sudden. I don't remember.
That he followed
Ah.
you
Nice.
to this place.
Tester General is like a sniffer dog, you know? Yeah.
You're like a sniffer.
Hey,
dog.
hey, be careful. Be careful with that.
Why won't the glass fall? Why?
No.
As the bell.
The grading
The
machine.
one that asked for a kiss.
The grading machine. You know, this evening, if I grade you, you give me a kiss on the cheek. That's me. Monsieur Tester General. Okay, well, why don't you do me some jollof and is that a cocktail you're serving?
Yes.
Can I have some? I mean, you don't treat your guests.
Please, aren't you hungry?
No, it's not moving anywhere.
Oh,
Please
please eat.
Please, just for the record, you weren't invited.
Eat.
Just for the record.
On my behalf, eat.
Uncle Jimmy, you can't be following me around town. Anytime I'm going to visit my friends, my family members, then you end up there.
Oh, please, you are. You,
If it's my house, that's different.
you see, you are forgetting that I've been nominated and elected to be the Taster General.
I called you the Taster General because you are tasting everything I eat.
Oh, you call me?
Yes.
Well, it's been established in the book of, you know what I mean?
Which book, Uncle Jimmy?
Oh, the book of life.
Mm.
Hello, AJ.
AJ, please give Uncle Jimmy
Look,
some food.
even before I grade you, I can see you've passed all the tests
Really?
that I inputted into my computer.
Okay, I like Taster General now.
Yes.
Wow.
Once he
Sell out.
says
Yes.
it's nice.
Because
To the lowest bidder.
how can you
I don't mind.
go to the dining table without the pork kebab?
In fact, Taster General, I'll give you 2. just because you like.
May the Lord
Anyway.
be with you.
Hallelujah.
Let's continue
No,
our
no, I'm having a
conversation.
third one.
I've remembered now.
And I'm having a third one.
We're
And you
talking
gave
about
me
the.
one.
Let's continue our conversation.
And as usual, I have.
Please, you can pick
with
what
me
you
my
want. AJ's house is my house. So we're
AP.
talking about.
It's here.
Yes.
It's here.
Yes, I didn't expect anything less. But we're talking about the creative arts industry. And I wanted to know from all of you, what do you think is causing, first of all, our
Thank you.
inability to maximize the opportunities that are there? Because all over the world, we've seen examples of people
I
and
think the
industries and
pull-me-down
countries.
syndrome. Everyone
How-
wants to be there.
How so?
Hatred. There's hatred in the creative. I think there's hatred there. Everyone wants to be there alone, without helping
But
each other.
to start with, is there even an industry?
Okay, that's the question.
That's what I want.
Before you talk about hatred, is there even an industry?
That's a good question.
And I don't want to hear government, but is there even an industry?
all went into the cooking of the rice? The jollof, actually. Did you use Ghana rice?
Yes, taste the general.
You see? I'm good at it.
Okay. Good question, JB. Is there even an industry? Vic, I see where you're coming from for the, PhD syndrome. This pull him down, pull her down syndrome. But you see, a lot of artists, unfortunately, classify themselves as struggling artists. So of course you're not going to want to share the little spotlight or opportunity to make money with someone else. You see where I'm not saying it's right, but I'm
Yeah,
just trying
I
to get you to,
understand.
when people have real bread and butter issues.
See, before we move on, what is a creative art? We just need to define what goes into that, what makes up the creative
No,
art,
I mean, it's extremely broad, right?
right? There's the performing arts, that's
Yeah.
under creative arts. There's photography, there's video,
Yes.
there's filmmaking, there's... What else?
Cooking is an art, you know?
Of course,
But it's
culinary
not under
art.
creative arts.
Oh, really? But you
But-
create.
And that's part of the
It's
problem.
creativity.
We have a very
You know?
myopic way
Myopic.
of looking at what art is in the first
That's
place.
true.
You know, very, very myopic.
And I think,
See?
honestly, policy direction hasn't really caught up with how enormous the industry can be. If we were putting all our arsenals in the tourism industry, making sure that we're directing a lot more policy, a lot more funding towards that, we could actually be getting somewhere, because it's a cash cow just waiting to be milked.
But
You-
don't
you
you
know
think that
that.
you can only have policy direction where there's actually been a conversation or some kind of thinking about what such a policy could do in the first place and why you need one?
No, you see,
I don't think we see the need for a clear-cut policy. I don't think so.
tourism has to be driven by strategy. The
Mr. General, did you come here to eat, just eat or contribute to our conversation?
You haven't said a word. Anyway, tourism
said-
has
he
to
said-
be
he said
driven by
cooking is an
strategy.
art.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
we have no strategy.
You know, when I hear people say there's no industry, it's funny. There's always been an industry. It's about injection, regulation, and infrastructure.
Okay.
If you have
By
people-
injection, you mean cash.
if you have people weaving cane, it's an industry out there. You don't need to form an association of industry people. Once somebody is into an art, be it creative or whatever, it's an industry which has to be regulated and attention must be paid to.
So it needs to be formalized.
Thank you. Now, how do you make money when there's no proper infrastructure? One.
Infrastructure provided by who?
No, you see, people go for monies to do training seminars and all that. But if I play music on air, it should be automatically be captured by a certain group of people. People who have published their songs outside go there for their monies. They sit here, they call, and I mean, anyway, that's by the way. And with this good food, I think I have a surprise for you.
A surprise.
That would be a first.
I would it.
In the neighborhood,
What's more surprising than you showing up?
then there's more surprise. I'm
That's a
thinking
good
about
question.
surprise someone who cares a lot about the creative arts industry,
Okay.
who supports the industry, and I'm sure when he comes, you're going to say hallelujah for having this man.
No, you're
by-"
actually bringing another person.
Oh, you don't know?
I don't
Well,
tell
that's
me.
my surprise.
So you weren't
Taste-
invited. This is
taste
even
the
part of
general.
Ghana's problems. You weren't invited. You came with a
And
guest.
you came with a guest.
Because the food there will be left over, and I don't want. Yes, yes.
Well,
Okay, please bring your surprise.
we would love to see it. It will be the first.
In a minute, I'm going to bring my surprise.
Okay.
We're waiting for you.
So, a round of applause for
There's
the
no
one
chair
and
for your
only.
surprise. Anyway.
You don't even have a chair for this person you are bringing.
I'll give you my chair and go for another chair.
Hey.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay.
Doesn't look like we can
Okay.
stop you.
This should be exciting.
I'm suffering. I'm suffering. I'm suffering.
Huh. Apioco, why did you bring this man?
Here we are.
You have put up to this.
No, I think we should bring
Here?
it here.
Okay. Okay.
But
By my
AJ,
side.
But,
It's
no,
no
but
problem.
did I come with somebody? AJ, how many hours have I been here? Before we even started cooking, I was.
I'll go kill you with enjoyment. Enjoyment. Please, my surprise. Dr. Kofi Aban.
Yes, sit down properly.
Give him a hug.
Please,
Give him
doctor,
a hug.
please, 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 take it, please, no. Hey,
Okay.
hey.
AJ,
Hi.
AJ, have you wiped the chair?
I have wiped.
You're very welcome to What's Cooking. Okay, so Uncle Jimmy didn't disappoint for once.
Yes.
Dr. Aban, you're very welcome.
Move my plate, move my place, move my place.
And your juice.
Forget it, I don't need this.
So,
Are we all set?
you see, Tester General, no disappointment at all.
How did you pull this off?
It's a very good
Only
question.
God knows.
I'm always in good company.
May I interest
Apioco
you
is
in a
one.
good day afro?
Yes. Where's my, is that
Did he
mine?
storm your house too, Dr. Aban?
Nah.
Well, you're very welcome. Welcome to What's Cooking. Viewers, welcome our guest, Dr. Kofi Aban.
Hello.
A phenomenal gentleman by all standards, and if you don't know about him, use Google. Really. Yeah, that's all I'll say. But I mean, thank you for joining us. For once, Taster General has actually brought us a welcome surprise.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I told him that I'm going around the neighborhood to see what's cooking. So if he doesn't mind, he can come along.
Some good day to make your day good.
So AJ is the cook today.
I am.
She made some brilliant jollof.
Okay.
Very interesting, and I must say, it has a very Asian Indian vibe to it. AJ.
Come on.
You know, should we find you an Indian husband?
Possibly.
Because this one, Nakumerica, no go.
No, you see.
Easy. And then some grills as well. But Dr. Aban,
Here
before you
you
joined
go.
us, we were talking about the creative arts industry.
Cheers.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
cheers, absolutely.
That's mine.
Cheers to Jimmy, the Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Cheers.
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 So, Doc is here. You can tell him
Yes.
all about creativity.
You are so excited.
Yeah, because he knows he's done something positive. No, you
He
see,
does.
I suspect it's a typical case of when you know you're going to mess up, you must find a way to make things right. So he came prepared.
Oh, I love it. But Dr. Aban, as someone
Yes.
who has
So we're,
Just
we're
call me
talking.
Kofi.
Yes.
Just call me
Yeah. So
Kofi.
okay, cool.
coffee.
We're
gonna
talking
be
about the
hard. We love
creative
it.
arts industry.
Tell me about it.
And before you joined us, I was talking about an article that JB drew my attention to. It was basically chronicling some of the findings from the 2010 census. And what it said, it was published in 2012, was that only at the time, 0.6% of Ghana's active economic population was involved in the creative arts industry. And actually even making some money, which I don't even think is that much. So we're just trying to talk about what we think some of the problems are that have brought us to this point. And then probably you have some suggestions on how we can use business sense to bring the creative arts industry, because it's clear that the government doesn't. I mean, let's
have no
call a
clue.
spade a spade.
Yeah.
A country that doesn't even invest in teaching anything creative or putting any prominence on creativity in the educational system obviously doesn't have the thought process of grooming people to become active,
Right.
economically earning creatives. But I just want your take on it all.
Please allow him to eat first.
Thank you.
Please allow him.
Taster General.
Yeah, she
No,
tasted food.
I'm interested to hear what he has to say about the food.
Yes, yes.
Very
Please
much
go.
so.
Of
Very
course,
Go ahead.
AJ.
Of course.
Sell out.
This was the first time eating AJ's food.
Okay.
Oh.
AJ.
Oh.
Oh, AJ. AJ.
You know,
Wow.
AJ.
afros are down. So,
AJ.
you know, sometimes my cooking attracts the high and mighty. And we thank God. We thank God.
But okay, he says we should call him Kofi.
Oh, yes.
Please forgive me if I call you Doc a few times.
No, call me Kofi.
Kofi.
So I'll
Was there
forgive you.
Kofi? But was there evidence on that day that she was the one who cooked the food? I'm just asking.
Hey, after all I've
I'm
done,
just
that's still doubting
asking.
Apioko.
I'm just asking.
Hey.
I'm just asking.
I think the younger sister cooked. And she delivered.
Trashed on national TV. Oh my God. But we'll take it.
We love you.
But the food is good. It's good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just give me 2 sticks in addition to the comments.
But what do you think about the food, Sister General?
Oh, after this, then I can comment.
okay.
Yes, please. But for now, it's still sampling opportunity. Yeah.
Doc's
After-
thoughts on creative arts.
Oh, yes, yes.
Not food.
I'm quiet.
Creative arts.
I'm quiet.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kofi.
Thank you, sir. It's a very good question. I believe very well that I think the private sector hasn't really done well to support creative arts. And also it's an issue of creativity. And if the private sector can come together and support them, I think the creative arts will do really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you say support, in what way?
Financial support.
Yes.
Okay.
Financial
So
support.
take
That's
the money
key.
and give to the people directly, or
But you would agree that financial support is one of our biggest problems.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
have a
It
lot
is.
of talented people that can't do it.
Absolutely.
We want to tell the Ghanaian story, but the money to
money,
tell the
no.
Ghana story. How do we tell Yas and a story?
Absolutely.
We need costume, we need actors, we need to pay these actors, we need to do the setups, we need to do the set design. All of it takes money.
All right, I see
so he's
where.
very right
but,
there.
no, I'm complete. But I see where JB is coming from because
Yeah.
you're wondering, are you going to give the money directly to the creative who is already hungry? Will he or she end up actually using it for the arts, or are we saying private sector should create billable opportunities in a controlled environment so that the creators can now plug in? Right?
But then, honestly, if it works both ways. Sometimes some people really have the plans in mind. Once the private sector steps in, gives the funding, like Dr. Aban Kofi rightly said, it will allow a lot of them to be able to fund their ideas. I think sometimes we do an injustice if we assume that giving money to hungry artists sometimes will prevent them from executing rather than blowing the money fast.
I think that creating the infrastructure, identifying the opportunities, creating infrastructure. So, for example, we have how many cinemas in Ghana at the moment?
3.
For
Okay,
the
well.
greater part of our
Yeah.
20
Yeah,
years plus, there were no cinemas.
True.
Right now, the best way you
There's
can
a cinema in Tema.
But you see, back in the day, there were until...
No,
with
for
movies,
cinemas.
Yeah.
movies
Yeah.
doing their rounds. There, local movies doing their rounds. there.
Remember those days of
Wow,
having a lot of
screenings,
production?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
Rex, all of
Cinemas
those
like
ones. Yeah.
The-
Mission 66 or Beyond Cinema.
any movie that's released, right?
Yeah.
Your first weekend at the cinemas will determine whether you make it or not.
True.
Right.
Right? So if we are private companies investing in that, that would be fantastic. Right? That's one way. If you open a nightclub, you have someone coming in to sing. You have a band. That's minimum 5 people. Right? You have people who come in on Friday nights, open mic nights and all of that. In 1 week, that club will service about 20 creatives. So I get where you're coming from. But then are you open, when I say you, I mean private sector, open to opening these avenues so that we, the creatives, can pop in, do what we have to do, and then leave?
But sometimes isn't it a numbers game? We have roughly 30 million people in Ghana, as compared to, say, our Nigeria, which is a lot of comparison made towards it, where the Nollywood industry has big
I was
numbers. So if
wondering
someone
when I was
puts
going to
in
hear
their
Nigeria in
investments-
this conversation.
Yeah.
So if in Nollywood, if a private sector decides or private individual or a company decides to put in money, investment in creating the structure,
Which is what
it will they'll end up making their money.
No, let me put it this way.
Okay.
You see, you're asking whether the money should be given to the hungry artists. No. Just as we have the Buzak Fund, you account for every step of the way how your expenditure went. So if there is an oversight body that if I have a production such as this, and it will cost me 10,000 to produce this in 2 days, the transportation, the equipment,
Everything must be accounted for.
yeah, that's the thing. It's not that you mention a figure and I give you the money and nothing is going on. No. But anyway, we came here to eat.
Yes,
and
we
taste the
did.
food. Can we continue with that? Because this conversation is never going to end.
No, it's true.
No.
It
We don't go around. No.
But
No,
beyond
this
that,
tastes the pork kebab. I'm also going to ask your opinion because AJ is done extremely.
Let me give him another one. Let him try the other one.
Yes.
It's
very
very eating the one that he has.
are you sure it's not just being courteous, AJ? Because you know, it's like
Haters.
It's like,
Haters are gonna hate.
it's like,
But-
you know, it's like.
Taste the general. Yeah, we
Taste
haven't
the
spoken yet. So.
AJ, because you say your food is nice. Come
Wow.
on, wow, to the lowest bidder.
Extra nice.
Oh my God! I have one. Taster General has declared
Complete
me.
with cocktails.
Thank you.
I just conclude that your love language is words of affirmation. That's all. Because I don't want to believe that you.
And yes.
It was a good day.
But the food is good.
It is
tasty.
really good.
Why, thank you.
It is really good. And Kofi, before we go, your final thoughts on, I mean, the food, the topic, and just anything in general. We're very pleased that you joined us.
People love you from a distance.
Yeah.
What we like to tell
I mean,
us.
I said I was going in the neighborhood to see what's cooking.
Okay.
He's come to see what's cooking.
Taster General.
Yes. So
Can Kofi talk, please?
Exactly.
I think AJ has done a very good job. It's a very good meal. My favorite food is jollof.
Hey!
Spicy jollof.
Come on!
Spicy also. I love pork.
Hey!
It's like it's just straight on point.
Come
Yeah.
on!
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a
I don't
jackpot.
care
I
what
think
you
what
say.
we
get
have
off
to
your
do is that AJ has to resign from city.
Hey!
Come and join my household in making food and everything.
We'll talk about the money backstage.
I'm her agent, please.
Oh really?
what?
What percentage of commission?
10.
10.
Don't
That's
mind
too
him.
much.
Don't mind him. Don't mind him.
Okay, so Kofi, thank you so much for joining us. Dr.
Yeah.
Kofi Aban has joined us, courtesy of the Taster General.
For the first time.
For once.
My favorite gentleman now.
AJ, thank you for having me, for having
Thank you
us
for
as
coming.
always. Like I said, next time we reciprocate. I'm doing a barbecue.
No, but we're
Yes.
not leaving. Hold on.
Oh, this is Vic's favorite part. No, I'm not in the picture. You are.
Bring your red hair in.
Just lean back a little.
His hands are short.
Say cheese.
Cheese!
One more.
Cheese!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another thrilling episode of What's Cooking right here on City TV. My name is Apioko, and next time, do join us to find
Music.
out what's cooking. But shall we dance?
Music, of course.
Cheers!
What a party day today. Oh, God.